90-day. Sarper refuses to curb his AHole side after Shekinah warns her daughter won't approve of their marriage. Exclusive. In People's exclusive look at the March 2nd episode of 90-Day Fiancé, the two reality stars prepare to move to the US, where Sarper will meet Shekinah's daughter for the first time. As the couple finally prepares to take their relationship to the next level after Sarper received his K-1 visa, People's exclusive look at the March 2nd episode shows Shekinah reminding him of her expectations. When she mentions the weight of her daughter's opinion of their relationship, Sarper seems to panic. Sophie has never met Sarper before, and it's really important to me for my daughter to see me in a happy and healthy relationship, Shekinah says. It's important to me that she likes him. My daughter already has a bad impression of you from my family, she explains to Sarper. You need to really think about everything you say because if she doesn't like you, I can't marry someone she doesn't like. That's my daughter. Are you kidding with me, babe? Sarper responds. I mean, is that a threat? 90-day. Sarper finally proposes to Shekinah after a year of ups and downs, but his true intentions remain a secret. Shekinah notes that it would be good for Sarper to think about it before we leave, but he cuts her off. No problem, he quips. If she doesn't like me, it will be a touristic travel for me and I will come back. That's how you think about it? Shekinah questions, if you don't marry with me, then I have to come back. Sarper says plainly. 90 days. Sarper vows to delete my past for Shekinah as they smash bottle collection from his former lovers. Exclusive. Unhappy with his reaction, Shekinah tells Sarper that she wanted him to be more comforting. Why don't you just say something like, she's going to love me? I'm going to do my best, she asks, prompting Sarper to repeat those words back to her. He then notes, of course I will do my best, but what do you want me to do? I cannot do extra than my character, you know? This is what I am. I'm an AHole sometimes, but I'm cute, he jokes. Don't be an AHole in front of her. That's all I have to say, Shekinah replies. Unamused, Sarper cleverly states that he will be only cute, but later says in his confessional that the pressure is making him uncomfortable. I don't want our destiny, our fate of our relationship, to be on her lips, he says of Shekinah's daughter. I don't like Sarper, so I don't want you to marry him, mama. I mean, it's not fair. Sophie is her daughter, but she's a teenager, Sarper continues as they walk their bags out of his Turkey apartment and head to the airport. I hope that, even if she doesn't like me, Shekinah sees that I'm trying to do my best. Because I am also making a sacrifice. Never miss a story. Sign up for People's free daily newsletter to stay up to date on the best of what People has to offer, from celebrity news to compelling human interest stories. 90-day. Sarper suggests Shekinah pay a $1,000 fine for every pound she weighs over 128 pounds in retaliation of prenup. While Shekinah's friends are outraged by Sarper's suggestion, his fiancés had a different reaction on the May 25th episode of 90-Day Fiancé. Sarper didn't take kindly to a suggestion of prenup just days before his wedding to Shekinah. On the May 25th episode of 90-Day Fiancé, the reality star suggested his fiancé pay a $1,000 fine for every pound she weighed over 128 pounds. As part of the agreement, Sarper's suggestion about adding a clause in the prenup about my weight is not a shock, Shekinah said despite her friends' outrage. On the May 25th episode of 90-Day Fiancé, Sarper and Shekinah didn't see eye to eye about the need for a prenup. During dinner with her friends, one pal brought the topic and he immediately shut it down. In my culture, a prenup is very rude to ask for, especially a woman to ask a man, he explained. Myself and nobody here would ever want to offend you in any way, another friend responds. We can't control the US government and neither can you about when you're able to work and contribute. And so all this is something that would be put in a drawer in case the worst scenario happens. Shekinah shared in a confessional that she could see why her friends were concerned about Sarper not wanting a prenup. She appeared to take her pal's words to heart and told Sarper, babe, you know, I trust you, but it might be a good idea for me to just get that. I mean, what's it hurt to get it? Sarper was offended by the mere suggestion, telling cameras, what the F? Oh my god, I am shocked. We have never talked with Shekinah about prenup before. Shekinah's friends were then in for a shock when Sarper suggested a clause of his own for their theoretical prenup. I have a weight target for you, right? 128 pounds, he told his fiancée. I will weigh you in every first week of every month and for every pound you're over, I will fine you for $1,000. Shekinah's friends were left dumbfounded and fought back at his outrageous proposition. However, it was no surprise to Shekinah. Sarper's suggestion about adding a clause in the prenup about my weight is not a shock, she admitted in a confessional. Of course he's saying that. He's the same guy that was trying to weigh me from day one. I think also it's just a little way of him getting back at me for doing something like asking for a prenup, which to him was offensive. As friends continued to attack him over the suggestion, he finally had enough, saying, "I need to leave." Despite Shekinah wanting him to stay, he exited the dinner and told cameras, "I don't care what they think. How can I request such a thing? How can she request a prenup to me? That's the same thing. I mean, it's really disrespectful. It's so disrespectful." Never miss a story. Sign up for People's free daily newsletter to stay up to date on the best of what People has to offer, from celebrity news to compelling human interest stories. 90 Days. Sarper says he's unsure he'd still date Shekinah if I had a chance to go back. My life was peaceful. Exclusive. The 90-Day Fiancé star tells People so much stress has been added to his life since meeting Shekinah on Bumble. 90-Day Fiancé's Sarper is considering what his life would have been like without Shekinah. The reality stars reflected on their relationship journey in a recent interview with People after Sarper finally received his K-1 visa and moved to the United States from Turkey. Since arriving, he says things haven't been easy between him and Shekinah, especially given his lifestyle before they met. "On our first date, I told her everything," he explains. "I was such a bad boy. I had such a life. I sent this message to her that I cannot be a serious guy for a relationship." But he used that a lot of the time because a lot of women will look at that and take it as a challenge to be like, "I want to be the one to change the bad boy," Shekinah chimes in. While Sarper insists she accepted the challenge and even liked it, she says she didn't look at it that way. "I saw something in him, and I was like, he doesn't really want to be this person forever. I felt like he was getting tired of that life," Shekinah notes. At the time, Sarper says he had a professional narcissist mindset where he thought, "You cannot love anyone more than yourself." When he met Shekinah, that all changed. "Now I see her like myself," he reveals. "She has a problem, I have a problem. If she has happiness, I am more happy than her. Is it a good thing? I don't know." He then admitted, "If I had a chance to go back 2 years ago, would I swipe right on Bumble? I don't know. Probably." When Shekinah questions his answer, Sarper doubles down. "I mean, look at whatever we've had, so much stress," he admits, as she adds, "Yeah, but you have to think if it's worth it." "My life was peaceful," Sarper says, although Shekinah disagrees. "Your life was not peaceful. It was very chaotic, babe." "In my way it was peaceful," he maintains. "Because I didn't have any stress, I didn't have any emotional chains. My life was at a happiness level of 4, 5, 6. It was going steady. Right now, it's 10 or 1, he says, jokingly adding, mostly a 1. That's your fault if it's a 1, Shekinah quips. 90 Days. Sarper compares Shekinah's home to a prison, vows to destroy everything if he can't get the freedom that I want. On the March 23 episode of 90 Day Fiancé, Shekinah admitted she still did not fully trust her. Sarper has officially moved to the United States, but both he and Shekinah are unsure if their relationship can survive the move. Culture shock quickly set in for Sarper as he adjusted to life in the U.S. on the March 23 episode of 90 Day Fiancé. In addition to what he previously said was a nightmare trip from Turkey, Sarper was disappointed to learn that Shekinah's home was a little smaller than he expected. After scoping out the space, Sarper told Shekinah's dog Adonis, "We'll be inmates together." To which Shekinah replied, "It's not a prison." Despite bringing her fiancé over to the US on a visa, Shekinah was not sure if she and Sarper would truly be ready to wed in just 90 days. Her biggest issue was still trust. "Consistency is everything to me," she explained in a confessional. "So the more that he shows me he's consistently loyal, consistently honest, I think I'll learn to trust him more." Meanwhile, Sarper was frustrated, believing he had done his best to prove himself trustworthy to his American fiancée. However, he was not so hopeful that she would fully trust him anytime soon. "If she never get rid of that insecurities, if she never let me feel the freedom that I want, I will destroy everything, all bridges, and go back to Turkey," he threatened. Sarper's concerns about life in the US grew as Shekinah gave him a tour of his new living quarters. Among his main concerns was the lack of a bidet in the bathroom. "Is it that important to you?" Shekinah asked her fiancé, who adamantly replied, "For 45 years it was important to me." Previously, Sarper learned that Shekinah utilized the first floor of her apartment as a workspace, and that he would have to leave the apartment altogether when she had appointments with clients. Cooking was also not allowed in the apartment, due to Shekinah's work. 90 days. Sarper says he's unsure he'd still date Shekinah if I had a chance to go back. My life was peaceful, exclusive. In a joint confessional, Sarper accused Shekinah of being like a dictator when it came to her home. Shekinah claimed she didn't want to overwhelm Sarper with the reality of her living situation, but Sarper wished she had been more transparent with him. "I wish she kind of told me about this apartment before I came here," Sarper said in a separate confessional, suggesting that her lack of honesty was a red flag. Sarper grew increasingly frustrated with Shekinah during a conversation about trust at the beach. There, Shekinah reminded Sarper that his past, which involved him sleeping with nearly 3,000 women, still impacted her ability to fully trust him. Instead of spending alone time at the beach, Shekinah recommended he get to know the neighborhood we live in and build trust little by little. 90 days. Sarper says having a body count of nearly 3,000 is a good thing. "Now, women can't tempt me." Exclusive. "The choices that you made didn't only affect the women at the time that you were dealing with, but they're affecting me now," she explained, referencing Sarper's past, "because they make me wonder if you can really be loyal long term." Shekinah acknowledged that not trusting Sarper could hurt their relationship. But she also feared what could happen if she trusted him more. "Considering his rapid change in lifestyle, it makes me wonder if it's not something you can sustain," Shekinah admitted in a confessional. "I just worry that in the future, something's going to happen and I'm going to regret trusting you." Still, Sarper remained frustrated with his fiancé's distrust. "I'm not cheating on you. I won't cheat on you. I will do my best, but you have to believe me," he explained in his own confessional. If she didn't change her ways, he later added, "she will be so regretful about this." Never miss a story. Sign up for People's free daily newsletter to stay up to date on the best of what People has to offer, from celebrity news to compelling human interest stories. 90 days. Shekinah storms off set after growing tired by how fiancé Sarper's past has come up to haunt us nonstop. "It's creating small fractures in our relationship that's going to end up in a big break," Shekinah explained during the Season 6 tell-all of 90 Day Fiancé. The other way, Shekinah is reaching a breaking point when it comes to Sarper's past coming back to haunt them. The couple were confronted by another one of his former lovers during the Season 6 tell-all of 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way. On the November 18 episode, Sarper, who had just arrived in the United States on his K-1 visa, and Shekinah came face-to-face with Didi, an American therapist whom Sarper met 3 years prior on a dating site. On stage, Didi dropped several bombshells, including that she stayed in touch with Sarper until November, and that Sarper may be afraid of Shekinah's possessiveness in their relationship. Upset, Shekinah walked off stage. Speaking with producers, she said she is over meeting people from her fiancé's past in this manner. "I've dealt with this past ever since we met and I'm tired of it. It was the bottle collection, it was reaching out, it was his book. Now it's this person. I'm tired of it." Shekinah snapped. Sarper was visibly shaken when he first saw Didi appear on the screen at the tell-all. Meanwhile, Shekinah asked Didi about her relationship with Sarper, but was not pleased to hear her fiancé's former fling say, "I consider us friends." Didi did say Sarper told her about Shekinah and claimed she even offered to meet his then-girlfriend and hang out if she wanted. Shekinah promptly shut her down when host Sean Robinson asked Didi if she was still interested in meeting Shekinah. Didi replied, "Yes, but," Sarper said no because she was possessive and unpredictable. 90 Day. Sarper concocts a grand plan when his visa is finally approved, but he doesn't want to move to US with Shekinah. Shekinah was not pleased about being called unpredictable and made it clear she was not interested in meeting another person from Sarper's past. "It's weird that she thought we could hang out," Shekinah said. "Like, that's insane." At Sarper's request, Didi firmly stated that she felt he will never cheat on Shekinah and gave him a glowing review of how much he has grown since his days of having sex with nearly 3,000 women. "I think that he will be very honest and very loyal to Shekinah," she told the group. 90 Day. Sarper wants Shekinah to cancel her nose job that he designed after realizing they can't have for 1 month, but when asked if Sarper may be afraid of Shekinah, Didi expressed concern about the possessiveness Sarper has described to her, noting that he doesn't feel like he can go anywhere or have friends. "I think it does seem a little bit toxic, like unhealthy in a lot of ways," Didi admitted. "That's fine. I don't care what you think about our relationship, Shekinah replied. She later added, I just think it's funny you have such an opinion, like you don't even know him. Then, Didi spilled some tea. Well, we do text, she said before admitting that she and Sarper had discussed meeting up again on multiple occasions. 90 day. Sarper concocts a grand plan when his visa is finally approved, but he doesn't want to move to US with Shekinah. That was the final straw for Shekinah, and she walked off stage. Speaking with a producer backstage at the tell-all, Shekinah said she was so upset to learn that Sarper and Didi were texting in November. He needs to be the man that I need him to be, Shekinah explained. And if he can't catch on, then we can't walk down the aisle. Back on stage, Didi dropped another bombshell by showing the group the long thread of text messages on her phone from conversations with Sarper, even though he suggested they had only spoken 2 or 3 times. James jumped to Sarper's defense. I feel he handled it right, though, because he did say that one weird thing he did say, I'm in a relationship. But Shekinah still refused to leave her dressing room. Unpredictable, I'm saying. Sarper exclaimed. 90 day. Sarper says he role-plays with Shekinah, so he's committed to only one girl, but seems like different girls, exclusive. Unlike Corona and Mytalia, Sarper did not immediately look for Shekinah to console her during the break. Shekinah scolded him. Why did it take you so long to come up here? I know you can do better than that, Shekinah said, but he argued, we're in a social setting and we need to make everyone happy. The only person you should be concerned with making happy is the person that's in your life, Shekinah said before asking. Is that woman in your life? Is that other woman in your life? Why do you care about making her happy? Shekinah continued, your past has come up to haunt us non-stop since we've been together, though Sarper suggested that's normal. I don't want to keep living moments like this over and over, Shekinah explained. It's creating small fractures in our relationship that's going to end up in a big break. I promise you, I just know how things like this go. 90 Day Fiancé. Loren awkwardly confesses to Faith that they can't kiss because of his STD. Exclusive. You're the winner, babe, Sarper said, but Shekinah pushed back. Nobody's winning. If you're going to look at yourself as a prize, then you need to act like one. Eventually, Sarper and Shekinah reconciled with a hug. Stop saying things like that. Shekinah said as they embraced, never miss a story. Sign up for People's free daily newsletter to stay up to date on the best of what People has to offer, from celebrity news to compelling human interest stories. 90 Day. Sarper says he role-plays with Shekinah, so he's committed to only one girl, but seems like different girls, exclusive. Role-playing is a thing that makes the relationship alive, Sarper says in People's exclusive sneak peek at the November 3 episode of 90 Day Fiancé. The other way, Sarper and Shekinah decide to roleplay. While each dresses up as other people, Sarper reveals why he thinks it is an important part of their relationship. Roleplaying is a thing that makes the relationship alive, he says. We think that both me and Shekinah. Right now, I'm with only one girl, but seems like different girls, he adds with a wink. In their apartment, Sarper, dressed in a low-cut black shirt and a long band wrapped around his head, danced for Shekinah, who was wearing a sheer black bodysuit with cutouts in the front and a blonde wig. She loves when I dance, every kind of dance, Sarper says. But this one was special. That dance was interesting, she jokes. I mean, you prefer me to make waltz or tango? He questions, to which she replies, I prefer your striptease. 90 Day. Sarper compares Shekinah to someone who is homeless after she wakes up from nose job. Exclusive. Sarper goes on to take his shirt off, showing off his muscles, and leaned down to take her hand. Oh my god, babe, you are so hot, she says. Oh wow, I love it. As Shekinah stands up, Sarper pulls her in for a kiss and gives her a command, go and wait for me in the bedroom, okay? He says, wear this when you come back there, Shekinah replies, pointing at his headscarf.